Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm back at it again with another video. I do apologize for the lack of videos, which I don't think there's really a lack of videos, just more time in between. I told you, I got a promotion, so it's going to be some time intervals in between the times that I do upload. That's just the facts of the matter, okay? But I have been following the news, and yes, I heard about the CM Punk drama yesterday, so we're going to talk about that, which I'm kind of happy that, you know, the one good thing about this promotion thing is that it gives me time to not cover things so quickly, so it has a little bit of an opportunity to, you know, breathe a little tiny bit. And, you know, luckily we actually got a bit of a response. Now, I'm not sure if this is a response directed at CM Punk. Everybody feels that this is a response, but first, let's read CM Punk's response first. I think he was talking to, was it Peter Rosenberg or something like that? But regardless, let's check this out. Link is down in the description box below, although I'm pretty sure you guys seen the video. CM Punk is undoubtedly one of the biggest names in professional wrestling. He is currently signed to WWE. However, from 2021 to 2023, he was with AEW and even won the world title twice. Although Punk's run in the Jacksonville-based company ended on a sour note, he locked horns with several prominent names such as MJF, Samoa Joe, Bobby Fish, Darby Allin, and Wardlow, among others. At Full Gear 2021, he faced former AEW Continental Champion Eddie Kingston and defeated him in under 12 minutes. Recently, the Best in the World shockingly claimed that he felt like he has wasted some matches on a few people when he was signed to All Elite Wrestling. Now, the Mad King, who is currently sidelined with an injury, has seemingly hit back at Punk. The Second City Saint had a heated rivalry with Kingston during his tenure with AEW. And I quote from Eddie Kingston. Now, this is something that he posted on his Instagram. Again, I'm not sure whether or not he was reflecting off the comments that CM Punk made, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But he said, "Nothing will kill a great employee faster than watching you tolerate a bad one." The 42-year-old didn't put up a caption for this picture and disabled. Let me see. He didn't put up a picture for this What the hell? The way they typed this. The 42-year-old didn't put up a caption for this picture and disabled the post comment section. So, okay. While it remains unknown why he uploaded this image, fans have been speculating that it's directed towards the WWE star. CM Punk recently interviewed, was recently interviewed by Peter Rosenberg on Cheap Heat. There, where the latter asked the 46-year-old if there were any AEW wrestlers he thought he missed the opportunity to tell a story with. The Best in the World responded to this question by surprisingly stating that he wasted some matches, and I quote from CM Punk, "No, I feel like I wasted some matches on some people, for sure. That is what it is. Some people understand the business, and some people don't. I think everybody here understands the business," which was the quote that he made essentially, right? And, yeah. See, I'm not sure whether or not personally he was aiming at Eddie Kingston, or to be honest with you, it's not as if he was singling out a certain superstar. It sounds like he was pretty much generalizing there, and I guess Eddie Kingston, you know, took that to heart, and he probably felt like CM Punk dragged his name into all this, not by personally notating him, which makes this even more confusing, because why would Eddie Kingston go out of his way to pretty much make note of the fact that CM Punk most likely was talking about him amongst other people? But it could just be a clout thing. You know, maybe it could be a situation where CM Punk has talked to Eddie Kingston backstage and most likely has told him that he fucking sucks. I don't think, for the most part, when he had those promo battles with him back in 2021 or 2022, I think it was 2021 actually. I don't believe that CM Punk was saying things that was completely worked for the most part. I think what he said and the disdain that he has for Eddie Kingston is legitimately real, because Eddie Kingston has a certain mark perspective about him that CM Punk probably looks at, and he says to himself, well, Eddie Kingston, I don't like the way you work. I don't like the way you carry yourself. I think you're a slop. I think the way how you look inside the ring for the most part is completely cheap. I think it makes a mockery out of professional wrestling. I think he might have respect for him as far as his promo abilities in regards to his passion, but everything else outside that just screams backyard wrestling, and CM Punk does not respect that aesthetic when he's trying to make millions of dollars for AEW. See, I was one of those people, and I think anybody in the comment section will tell you, I was one of those people who did not like CM Punk. I was one of those people when he was going throughout his tenure in AEW to look down on CM Punk because I thought he was a shit-starting piece of shit. And to be quite frank, I still don't think too far from that nowadays as far as his position within the company in itself. But when you start seeing the evidence year after year roll out more and more and more and more, two things you can look at when it comes to CM Punk that you can actually make an equation about, and two of those things can be completely separate. As I talked about plenty of times before when he was within AEW, there's CM Punk who's malcontent. He's a pissy bitch. His pussy is filled with cum and he has no way to get it out, right? But at the same time, someone had to come inside him. That's the thing. When I see that people talk about Punk and I like to look at the evidence and suggest that his pussy is absolutely filled with cum, you have to take into account that someone had a fucking cream pie him. And it looks like it was the AEW faithful who fucking cream pied him. And you see that CM Punk is no longer with the company. And you see the devastation that not only his presence is doing to the company now that it's no longer around, but you kind of see what they are doing currently at the moment. And by the way, this extends to Cody Rhodes also. Notice, I find it very conspicuous that when CM Punk and Cody Rhodes were around, whether together or whether individually, the company seemed a little bit more, how do you say, I'm not going to say that it was a good company, but I won't say that at the very least it was just randomness happening, right? Still, a lot of work need to be done. Still, from the perspective of the hierarchy, which I always had a fucking problem with, and still to this day I have a problem with in regards to AEW, it just felt that things were out of whack. It felt that things were not in places that it should be. But it at least felt like, at the very least, if for nothing else, the proper superstars were put into the proper position to carry the company into the promised land. Now, like I said, unfortunately, it's pretty evident now that Punk and Cody Rhodes are not around in AEW that it lacked a lot of structure. And you can tell that these guys were super serious about what they wanted to do with this company. You could tell that at the very least, you see how these guys are trying their best to navigate through these treacherous waters within AEW, and you can clearly tell that they were at the very least, if for nothing else, trying to create structure. And it's obvious, because where's the structure right now? AEW is completely trash, but fuck the trashiness, that much is obvious. But I'm talking about the structure of the company. Nothing makes sense. You see superstars nowadays main event and have no business main event. You're seeing superstars nowadays who, by the way, in the multi-million-dollar company, leave it to them, they say billion, you have superstars who have no business not only not being in the main event, but currently being in the position that they're currently in right now without having even an ounce or a relation to a fucking story or a reason as to why they should be in that position, outside of the fact that somebody put them in that position for the sake of just doing it. Like I said, when it comes to the stories in AEW, there is no stories. There's just excuses to have matches. And I started to really realize that when CM Punk was around. And you can also see that more and more things being leaked, evidence being leaked, just the leak in itself being leaked should probably let you know how CM Punk feels. Try to give you a little bit of a glance into his psyche when talking about this shitty fucking company. The fact that we're even discussing leaks. What leaks are there to discuss currently in WWE right now? See, that's the funny part, and that's what I'm saying. This is what CM Punk was getting at, and this is why I've turned on CM Punk as far as being more into his camp. So never mind the stuff with the EVPs and the constant rumors being started and the constant trying to usurp power from a person who was more over than you and is left fucking nut than you are in your entire career. Never mind all that for a second, but just the mountains upon mountains upon mountains of bullshit that you see that this guy has to go through with these motherfuckers. People who claim to be Christians, but they can't put fucking personal biases to the side for a second to do business with a guy. See, I don't like CM Punk from a personal, as far as a political standpoint. Never will. We will never see eye to eye when it comes to politics. But goddamn it all, if we don't see eye to eye when it comes to professional wrestling and how it should be conducted, I don't think what the hell is it, right? And I can tell you right now, wrestling comes above politics when it comes to me. Absolutely, every single fucking day, not even goddamn close. So I have more of a healthy respect for CM Punk than most probably would think I do nowadays. I've been actually on the man's side for a better part of at least a year and a half, close to 2 years now. And you guys noticed this. You noticed the change in my vibe when it comes to CM Punk. It's evident. It's super evident because you can see where he was at in the company when he was with AEW. Never mind the structure of the company. We've already talked about that. But his actual well-being and his actual presence and his actual mental health compared to what he's doing right now, compared to how he looks right now. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had the best feud of the year. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, in my opinion, had the best match of the year. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have single-handedly took the Hell in a Cell and brought it back to prominence. That's what CM Punk and Drew McIntyre did. What does CM Punk do in AEW? And this is not a knock on CM Punk because God knows he did. He tried. Honestly, take away the MJF stuff, and even then, like I said, I kind of felt that feud is overrated because for the most part, that feud was absolutely fucking trash until you got to the last 2 weeks of that feud. The last 2 weeks of the feud and that dog collar match absolutely saved that feud. You go all the way back from the beginning all the way to the last 2 weeks when MJF started to talk about him being bullied as a Jewish person. Before that promo right there, you take all of that stuff and all you get is a bunch of whiny bitches using WWE's name in order to get heat for themselves. That's all they're doing. And on top of that, MJF's stereotypical bullshit way of how he usually carries out most of his stupid ass feuds. It didn't get good until the last 2 weeks. And the dog collar match, which that dog collar match is the best match in that company's history, arguably, right next to MJF's match with Bryan Danielson. Take your pick, it's one of the fucking other, right? But that's where I'm getting at in regards to AEW and CM Punk's time. That's what CM Punk is talking about when he feels that he wasted a bunch of matches, because quite frankly, he did. Now, obviously, take the personal bias out of it in regards to his friends, like Samoa Joe, for an example. People who he probably likes, as probably who he likes to mentor or tutor, or people that he's personally friends with, like a Ricky Starks, for an example. Take away all of those equations for a second, right? Maybe people that he really wanted to stick up for and help out, like a Will Hobbs. Take all that out of the equation for a second, right? Maybe even a Warlow, too. How would you feel knowing that your best years, right? Your body breaking down the entire 2024, you can probably point to and say that AEW was responsible for. How would you feel knowing that a bunch of rat-faced motherfuckers screwed you out of that fucking company after you put your blood, sweat, and tears, literally and figuratively, on top of your body for one company? Imagine doing all of that on a bunch of ungrateful little shits who probably, like I said, couldn't draw your fucking nut. Like you sperming, you gooning inside of a fucking cup, putting that on eBay right there would probably draw more than their entire fucking career. And that's a goddamn shoot. Literally. How would you feel knowing that you doing all of this for some pissant company who, now that you're gone, can't even fucking stay struggling above a fucking half point as far as where they were at their peak from a viewership number 5 years in, and you still have their dumbass sycophant fans making excuse after excuse after excuse because they themselves don't give a fuck about the wrestling company that they themselves want to enable and push forward? How would you feel doing all of this, having a simple agenda to want to bring this company to the promised land, and in the end of the day, it was all for nothing? 2 years later, all for fucking nothing. Damn near 2 years to the fucking date, all for nothing. And you're gonna sit here and say that this man has grievances? That this man is a powder pussy? No, he has every right to bitch. I'd bitch too. Imagine coming out of retirement, wanting to do something for a new company, taking your experience as far as helping out other companies get to the promised land, and then they do this to you. And then you come back to the place that you originally wanted to come back to begin with, knowing that your years are limited. Your money making ability is limited because of this shitty company over here. What more can you say? What more can you do about that? That's absolutely true. And to be quite frank, if Eddie Kingston is a part of that and he has a problem with that, that seems like an Eddie Kingston problem. Buddy, get good. It's as simple as that. Get good. Call me a CM Punk fanboy. Call me whatever you want to call me, because the proof is in the pudding. If you haven't been around the channel long enough, people in the comment section will tell you how I felt about CM Punk from 2022 going forward, from 2021 going forward, from 2020 going forward. Let the people in the comment section let you know what happened to my old channel because of the shit that he's talked about in regards to CM Punk. I will not and forever call myself a staunch supporter of CM Punk, just strictly based off of his politics, but I will be damned if I don't say at the very least that he absolutely is today one of the best wrestlers in the world and one of the hottest commodities in wrestling today, if you know what you're fucking doing, because of what he actually brings to the table. Facts are facts and truths are truths. Don't believe me? Go look at this feud with Drew McIntyre. Don't believe me? Go watch the Hell in a Cell match. Already watched like 5 times this year already. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Top 5 hottest commodities in professional wrestling, arguably maybe even top 3, is a CM Punk today. It's not glazing, it's the truth, objectively. And to know that we could be getting more matches after more matches after more matches in WWE taken away from us. What you got with Drew McIntyre could have just been just a taste, just a sample size of what Punk could have brought to the table from a story, for nothing else. You can argue about the quality of the match and stuff, which I will even say from a physical standpoint, CM Punk, he's not bad necessarily. It's just that he's getting old. But even then, his matches in AEW, outside of certain matches, weren't really necessarily all that bad. They were good enough at least to hold up to the standards and the capabilities of having some good matches with some WWE talent who actually know how to fucking work. But to know that you wasted all that, those physical anguishes on a bunch of people like a fucking Eddie Kingston, for an example, it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I feel for CM Punk. I think Eddie Kingston needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and know that sooner or later, AEW will fail. AEW will come crumbling down because it's people like him in a position to draw, to be an attraction. And when losers like that are the attractions, well, I think you come to see that CM Punk, for the most part, didn't just speak his mind, didn't just speak the truth, but he's just speaking reality. But I think what CM Punk said, for the most part, was absolutely true. I think anybody who has a problem with what CM Punk is saying can, do me a favor and they can combat it with facts. Go ahead, combat it with facts. I'll be the first one to tell you, I highlighted CM Punk multiple times from a statistical standpoint in AEW. I said it once and I'll say it again. Do I think he's a draw on his own? No. Do I think he's a commodity? Absolutely. Do I think he's a bigger commodity than anybody in AEW currently at the moment? Absolutely. Especially the full-time wrestlers. Tell me, who's more over than CM Punk in AEW who's on the full-time roster? Even the part-time roster, but more particularly the full-time roster. Oh wait, you'll never answer me because you can't. Punk didn't say anything wrong. If nothing else, I think he waited too long to say it. He did waste matches on an ungrateful company, on an ignorant company, on a company that, quite frankly, at this point, knowing how they're going forward with some of their stories, probably arguably shouldn't exist. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to how you felt about CM Punk's comments. How do you feel about Eddie Kingston's stupid ass rebuttal? As if we give a fuck what Eddie Kingston has to say. But hey, those are just my comments. And those are just my remarks. I'll be back later on tonight for the AEW Dynamite review. Let's see them prove CM Punk wrong, huh? Let's see them actually draw in the 800,000 without having to use his likeness on their show, because they're that fucking desperate. They're that fucking pathetic. They haven't hit 800,000 since showing CM Punk's face. That is the objective fucking truth. Go look it up. The last time they got 800,000 was when CM Punk was on their television, and they haven't hit it yet. That was back in fucking April. The proof is in the fucking pudding. You don't have to like the truth. You don't have to like the proof. The truth and the proof were never made for you to be liked or for you to be hated. It just exists to give you the objective fucking reality. As always, my name is Zavante, and I'll be catching you guys later. Deuces, P. Ice.